Good evening and welcome to Awakening Wednesday to all of you out there, here, and here as well. Tonight we're blessed to have a wonderful new spirit and person that's joining our production team. Michael is in the house doing some things along with Al running sound, and so I am so grateful and thankful for both of them to be here and to be in this supportive space and to share this Divine Wednesday with you. So as always, what we do, we send out a prayer to the universe to open our heart space, to open our divine oneness, to be at one with all that is. So in this time right now, let us start the music. Deep breath in. And just be present in this moment. As we will journey into the hearts, to the spirit and minds of our Indigenous brothers and sisters. For the love and the understanding that they give to us and that they are calling out to us to awaken to this divine space that spirit is in everything. I'm going to take a moment and read this song for prayer. Let's cut the music down just a little bit. So I want to read this song for prayer. It is the spiritual song of the Aborigines. I am a child of the Dreamtime people, part of this land, like the gum tree. I am the river, softly singing, chanting our songs on my way to the sea. My spirit is the dust devils, migrates that dance on the plain. I'm the snow, the wind, and the falling rain. I'm part of the rocks and the red desert earth, red as the blood that flows in my veins. I am eagle, crow, and snake that glides through the rainforest that clings to the mountainside. I am awakened here when the earth was new. Was the kangaroo. No other man of a different hue. I am this land, and this land is me. I am an Australian. So as we breathe that in, it reminds us to remember who we are. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. Feel that in your spirit. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. As we take this breath, in each breath we recognize the I am that we are in this very moment, right now. Remembering there is only one, and we are that one with everything. You are, I am, we are. So this takes us on this beautiful journey tonight to learn about our indigenous brothers and sisters and how they love the world so much and the resources and how they protect it. And we can learn how their spirituality is connected with everything. This is an awakening for each of us to recognize that we too must learn the oneness, must be awakened to this. I am. Thank you, Melissa, for that beautiful chant. So tonight, as we get ready to step into this divine time of spirituality with our indigenous brothers and sisters, let me show you this video. Smoking the peace pipe. How fantastic. This is International Indigenous Peoples Month. I love how now everybody has a month. At some point, we'll all have the world, and we won't just have a month, but this is progress. This is steps moving forward. And so I felt called to check into the spirituality of our indigenous people. And, it was quite amazing, as always, because there's so much that you learn. And we here in the Western world, so many times we're separated, or we believe that we are separated from, like, the trees and the rocks and land and flowers. And in the world of the Aborigines and the Native Americans, their philosophy is one that is so ingrained. And I had the pleasure of being in Australia for about 4 months. It was an amazing experience to be there. But recognizing how so much nature is surrounding and how they honor nature. So just to open this, the Aborigines' spirituality is the belief that all objects are living. I love that. All objects are living and share the same soul or spirit as they do. So this is a very fundamental statement of spirituality. It implies that besides animals and plants, even the rock has a soul. The grains of sand have a soul. And that really, I know that I think that, it's a part of this divine kingdom. But to recognize that it has a soul, that means that it is participating in this evolution of life. And that would explain why in the indigenous people world and the culture, they restore our resources. They utilize them in a way that does not deplete, but supports our world. I saw this and I was like, what? I didn't know that it was indigenous people that created the aspirin. I'm like, wow. The things that they have created and that we as Westerners have taken and, of course, made a bunch of changes to. But right now, as we look at climate change, as we look at the changes in our world, we really want to take a look at how they have maintained and flourished the resources instead of depleting them. In the indigenous spirituality, it is defined as the core of an Aboriginal and a Native American. Their very identity, it gives meaning to all aspects of life, including relationships with one another, the environment, all objects. And I love how this kept coming up over and over again. All objects are soul and spirit. So thinking about that, I was like, and their kinship with the environment. They have a relationship with the environment. We sometimes, we being Western culture, don't see it as a correlation. I mean, right now there are people that don't believe that climate change is happening. And whatever you believe, if you use something without learning how to replenish it, at some point, it has to change. Even on that simple basis, it would have to change. And so, recognizing that here is a culture, a people, that most people would think, oh, they're living without, because there aren't any TVs. there are no cell phones. And I love these things. I love TVs, I love cell phones. But I also know that there's a way that we can, as people, recognize that we are sharing this planet. We don't own it. We're sharing it. We're sharing it with the moon and the stars and the sun and the oceans and the icebergs. We are sharing the community. We are sharing the world. We don't own it. And so in sharing it, we want to participate as our indigenous brothers are teaching us. It is a must. I remember this maybe was 20 years ago, before bottled water was really like a thing. It could have been 25 years ago. And I was at Agape and we had a Native American chief, I don't remember his name, come. And he talked about a dream that he had, that he saw people carrying plastic with them everywhere. And we all laughed. We thought, dude, this, I was like, okay, Reverend Michael, that's getting a little too deep for me. I can't get with it. I can't get with it. I don't know what you're talking about, that we're going to be just, what, carrying around plastic? And you should have heard some of the conversations. The conversations were like, that's the most insane thing. At least in the circles that I was in, there wasn't anybody that was like, well, you know, maybe. And he did not say that it would be water, but what he did say was that what was ever in this plastic bottle was important to the body, from what I remember, to the body. I do not remember him saying that we will be carrying around water. But lo and behold, what are we doing? We are carrying water. We're buying it. We have it in our homes. We go to the store. It's in plastic, and all this plastic that's supposed to be recycled. You know, I was very disheartened when I found out a lot of the plastic is not recycled. It's still in landmines and landfills. And so once again, that brings me right back to, we want to start looking at cultures that have learned to be in harmony with the universe, that have learned to share this world, and that do not drain the resources, but help the resources to multiply and to expand. Now, it says that part of their spirituality, a great deal of it, is listening. Listening and learning. Listening to the livingness of everything around them. So that means they're listening to the trees, to the rocks, and I know some of this seems like, what is a rock saying? But if we've never taken the time to be at one with everything, don't be so quick to say that a rock does not have a spirit presence. This is new thinking, and it's new thinking for us in the Western world, for some of us, but this has been the way that many of the cultures that they're still alive. They're still alive and thriving. They hunt, they eat, they have families, they enjoy, they love, they have music, they laugh, they're still alive. So there is something to this wonderful understanding, not to stop the progress, but to also understand that we can incorporate a way of progress that does not just kill our environment. So, they listen and learn to every living thing. They listen to one another. They speak in counsel. They come together to speak, if there is a disagreement, they come together to speak, but you have to listen in order to have a community that works together. And they do work as a community, just as the Native Americans. They work as a community together for all to have. There is not this seed that there's not enough. There is a spiritual core that they understand that there is more than enough for everyone. So, for example, many spoke of indigenous spirituality as a way of life, a way of knowing, that was centered on a relationship with the Creator. So there's a true belief that they have their own spiritual connection and relationship with the Creator, the land, and all relationships. This usually included all other beings and all other forms of life, including what are commonly perceived as inanimate objects. So things that, tools, they're tools in order to be able to hunt. That, that's just a tool. No, that is a source of the Creator expressing for them to be able to have a way so that they can feed and eat for their families. I just think it's really quite a powerful connection to take this opportunity to look at your surroundings differently, to look at everything, because all of it comes from divine thought. It comes from a divine thought through someone. Someone thought this up, these chairs. There was a point where there were no chairs. People were sitting on the ground. And then there was this thought that, we could do it differently. And so things were created and made, and then, chairs have evolved. I mean, we have the ecosystem chair that's amazing, that supposedly, contours your back, good for your thighs and your legs. But all of that is the expansion of a thought. And so in this indigenous community, the way they see the earth, they see a divine relationship, that we are connected together, and that in all things that I do, I have to honor. I must honor this space. I must honor. So They talked about one of the examples that a lot of the indigenous chiefs would do is in predicting the weather. Just like the Native American chief that came and predicted that, hey, we will be carrying these plastic bottles with us. And it would be important to our body. And today, I tell you, that it's very important. I don't know why I didn't bring my bottle of water on stage. Because it's hot in here. But they talked about predicting the weather through the sun, through the red sunset or a rainbow. And, you know, to be in harmony in that way, that you can look at the sun and see the variations. I mean, because I look at the sun, you know, I see the sun. I don't necessarily see that if there's something, unless it's, you know, an eclipse or with the moon or, you know, something major that's happening. But they were dictating this every day. This is how, you know, the time dial came about. They also used so many herbs. They used herbs to heal, herbs for nutrition. Our planet gives us these herbs. They grow. And in a lot of places, we've just killed the soil. But what we had in the beginning, everywhere, were all these amazing herbs that could help heal our body, help nourish our body. So they still use herbs for medicine. And like I said, they created the aspirin. Really quite amazing. They have a natural way of preserving meat. A natural way of preserving meat. They select good seeds to plant and to grow. And so that means you have to know the earth. You have to know the land. You have to know what seeds are good to be replanted and where they need to be planted. And in looking at this, all of this is done in a space of divine connection. In a space of, this is the earth giving to us, and we receive, and then we give back to the earth. They made wine out of fruits, built their huts out of the trees, using of the hunting of their tools. The Indigenous Knowledge System and Practices, IKSPS, have been proven to contribute to the sustainability and productivity of many ecosystems. Examples which include the rice terrace, a private wood lot, the traditional bioverse, and the fish conservation practices. You know, with fish, so many of our fish now have mercury, and you know, just some of the water has been so polluted. And so here again, they have found a way to be in harmony with our land, to be in the oneness with all that is. Let's just take a breath, because there's so much that I have to say. When a lot of times, well, when I was there in Australia, I was so excited the first time I saw an Indigenous person. They were in the city and dressed in their cloth, and they had marks. Their tattoos were marks and things, and you know, somebody had them like performing in this crowd, which was a little disheartening to me, because we tend to do that. But I remember looking at this man, and the texture of his hair was so beautiful. His skin glistened, unlike anything. Like, I was like, does he have on makeup or? His skin was so beautiful, and he was barefoot, and his feet, the nails were just white, and I was like, wow. Because you think, of course, the pictures that are shown of people are that they're living in poverty, that they're living in squalor, that they're living less than. And so looking at this man's body, you could tell the health of his spirit. And even as he danced in this most delightful, divine way. And the song, I did not understand it because it wasn't his language, but I could feel the energy of it. And it was just immersed in such joy and such appreciation. And so I moved from, here we have this man here, this Aboriginer, to make a show of, to understanding that he was there blessing us. That he came with his spirit and his understanding that we have not yet awakened to this great oneness that we are with all of everything. And so as he danced around and he sang and he shook his spear over the crowd, I literally felt this energy of his spirit just rising. And I thought, how amazing this is, that I didn't see someone that felt that he was less than. I saw someone that gleamed with a light that he knew of his divine connection. And so as we celebrate our Indigenous brothers and sisters, let's not celebrate from a standpoint that they are less than or these poor cultures or people. Let's understand that there's a different way of living, and it doesn't have to be the same way for everyone. And the gifts that they give us are so valuable. If we would listen, would help us sustain a better relationship with our world. And we're in need of it now. We are absolutely in need of it, to see how cultures like this have been living for this amount of time. And, you know, I was not blessed to go out to the outback, but in talking to some of the natives in Australia, you know, and Australia didn't have the pollution that we have here. At least when I was there, they did not. That's about 8 years ago. And the wildlife was just rampant everywhere. I always share this story. We went to the Amazon on our day off, and we went to see the Three Sisters, which was this natural rock formation, that the natural essence of these three different rocks formed to look like women. And they had one that was a very big sister to the next one that was kind of mid-range, and then the other one that was a little bit taller. But you could see the formation, and they were women, and it's called the Three Sisters. And so as we're walking through the forest, there was an iguana that I saw in there that literally, if you know the Lions Club, it was from the one edge of the parquet floor to the end of the other parquet floor. And it was just hanging out. And I was like, oh my God, it was huge. It was just amazing. I was like, wow. And all these exotic birds that you would hear singing to you, it was just like, oh wow. So at lunch, we go to have lunch, and across the street was this beautiful, vibrant tree. And in it were like about, I don't know, 10 or 12 cockapoos. They were white, and they were loud, and they were talking. And the last guy that got his lunch, they came in and swooped in and grabbed his bag. And he was going to try to fight with them, but one of the keepers there said, no, let it go, let it go. I don't have an Australian accent, so I won't do that to you. No, let it go, let it go. So he lets it go. He goes, man, they'll break your finger. So they took his lunch, and they were in this tree across from us, and they were eating it. They were eating his food and flying around, and it was a big party. And, you know, he got pissed off because they took his food. But the cockapoos there are like our pigeons here. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. And they're beautiful. All white. You'll see them in the city. If you get a little bit out of the city, you go to the beach. They're at the beach. They're everywhere. And as this keeper was explaining, they're very aggressive. They can be. They will come in and they run in packs. He's like, they run like 8, 10 deep. And you have to be respectful of them. But, you know, realizing that, you know, sometimes here, I'm sure if you know some people that live in the hills or in the mountains, we tend to get a little upset when we see animals that was their home. We keep moving further out, and then we want to get an attitude when we see a bear come in the backyard. Or I remember in Ventura, I had some friends that lived in the hills, and they had a brown bear that came into their backyard. Big baby, but they were up in the mountains. This is part of their home. And, you know, one of the things about this understanding with the indigenous people, that they have come into harmony. Yes, they hunt, they kill, they fish, they absolutely, but there's also respect of the animals, that they have a place as well, that everything isn't just for us. It's not all about us. We share this planet. We share this planet. So I thought that was really cool. I just loved how close you could be to nature. You know, my first time seeing really a koala bear up close and personal in a natural habitat. The appreciation for nature and plants, just a greater depth of understanding. And so recognizing when I've had the pleasure of going to my very first sweat lodge, was given by a Native American chief in the Pechanga tribe. This was before they had their casino. And the rituals that they have always bring in the land. It always brings in the connection of all. And so I was very excited because this was my very first time going to a sweat lodge. And I did not know what to expect outside of everybody's like, it's going to be really hot, it's going to be really hot, it's going to be really hot. It's like, got it. But what was so amazing is we all sat around in a circle and they gathered all the things that they needed to create this fire. Before we even entered into the lodge, there was prayer for everything that was brought into the center, that was there to nourish our journey as we were to go through this sweat lodge. And I was just in awe that I'm like, because what looked like sticks, they would pray over it. And it wasn't like, oh, thank you, God. It was a ritual, it was a prayer. And as one of the ladies explained to me, the prayer was a prayer of thanksgiving, of appreciation for this life. And, you know, I just kind of, because this was years ago. This was very early, this was probably 30 years ago. Ooh, wait a minute, I'm only 32. This was years ago. So this understanding that what? But it's just a stick. What life? It went totally over my head. But I'll never forget that they prayed for everything that they brought into that center. And as we sat around, they gave us a prayer that we were to say as they brought everything in. So they bring everything into the center, they pray for it, that we have prayer. And then when they move it into the sweat lodge, there is another prayer that said, before we were to grace to go in. And as they said, they were blessing the ground that we would be sitting on. That's a divine connection of understanding that there is a oneness with all of us, that there is nothing that is separate. And so as we go into the sweat lodge, and they start the sweat lodge, and because it was mixed, it was men and women, we had to have clothes on because of American culture. But I remember I just had on a little summer dress. And at one point, it got so hot in there, I literally thought I saw a face coming out of the fire. And I remember that as they were talking us through what would happen and what would do, I remember that our guide said that there may be times that you, and for me, I'm going to put it in my words, that you may want to run. You want to run out. But that's the time that your divine spirit is trying to speak with you. Don't be afraid. Take a breath. Lay flat on the ground, because it was a little cooler if you got that hot. And stay present. And so I remember when I saw this face that I did, I was like, and I felt like my nostrils were just on fire. But I managed to lay down and remember what he said. Don't run. This is the time. Don't run. And so I started to pray, because they are praying constantly, the entire time that we were in there, they were praying. And so instead of focusing on the heat, at this point, I shifted to the prayer. And I don't know if I was actually saying what they were saying, but I was in tune with the harmony of the voice of spirit that was flowing in that sweat lodge. And as I have been looking through all of the information about indigenous cultures, that is a core belief, that they believe that there is a harmony that we can all tap into. There's a harmony with you and the ocean, a harmony with you and the land, with the flowers, with the earth, with the sun, with everything, with the food that you eat. There is a divine harmony. And when we are in alignment with it, we are giving and receiving at our highest and greatest good. So I will leave you with this. I read that spiritual song, which just says it in a nutshell. And I want to do it again, because it just clearly states again, a people that believe in a oneness. You know, as a little side note, our founder, Ernest Holmes, it's like listening to what Ernest Holmes talked about. He did not believe in a religion or a church. He believed in a spiritual practice, a spiritual relationship that allows you to be in control, to recognize your power and the source of your beingness that comes from within. And with that, you are connected with everything. And this is absolutely what our brothers and sisters have been telling us, what they are trying to teach us. And here's where we can listen. So it says, the spiritual song of the Aboriginer. I am a child of the Dreamtime people, part of this land like the gum tree. I am the river softly singing, chanting our songs on the way to the sea. My spirit is the dust devils, mirages that dance on the plain. I'm the snow, the wind, and the falling rain. I'm part of the rocks and the red desert earth, red as the blood that flows in my veins. I am eagle, crow, and snake that glides through the rainforest that clings to the mountainside. I awakened here when the earth was new. Through there was a kangaroo. No other man of a different hue. I am this land, and this land is me. I am Australia. I am this land is me. I am Mother Earth, and Mother Earth is me. So as we celebrate our Indigenous family this month, and remember that we are all here giving and choosing to expand the living experience. And right now, that call is loud. It is loud. And so however you feel that you can participate in expanding and recognizing and appreciating other cultures that you don't know, this is the time for us to start to appreciate each other and to appreciate our earth more. It is to be mindful that we are sharing this earth. We don't own it. We're sharing it. So I thank you for being here. I want to show you this little clip as we get ready to move into our announcements. So now, as we get ready to talk about our wonderful announcements, things that are going on here, I'm going to have Michael play a little music there underneath. Whichever one you hit is fine. And we'll bring that down. Great. So we are looking for a setup and tear down team to help support Lee and Bob and Eileen. So reach out to Lee at universalspiritcenter.org. If that so calls to you, it's a great way to volunteer to give service. The choir on fire. We are opening up the choir. Join us. We will have rehearsals on Thursday. The time is still in question, but probably about 6:30. And then also on Sunday, after our second gathering at 12:30, as we get prepared to get ready for our anniversary that's coming up. So if you'd like to join the choir, if you have questions, Gino at universalspiritcenter.org. And that being said, we'd like to vision for our 21st anniversary that's coming up. We don't know what's being called forth, and so we'd like to have you come and vision with Lee at the office. I think it's at 10 o'clock. It's at 10 a.m. He's going to be at the office, 3930 Utah, and come and sit and vision with him. It'll be awesome to birth what our 21st anniversary will be. Our Mystic Sunday. I'm very excited about this. On the 21st of August, we're going to have Mystic Sunday. Our wonderful Margot Alora will be giving the talk for both the first and second gathering. And then after that, we will transform our space into a psychic fair. We have already, I think, 12 or 14 vendors. So there will be a lot of things going on. It's going to be an awesome time for you to experience some other different spiritual experiences and ways that you can support yourself, or even just for curiosity. So please, August the 21st, it is going to be a powerful Sunday. The fair will take place from 1 to 4. Our gathering will be at the same time, and there'll be time for you to get a little something to eat so you can come back afterwards. REP, our Racial Equality Project this month, we are doing Alice Walker, her book. The Trouble with My Familiar. And it's not here yet, but at the end of the month, I'm very excited to share that we will go to an Ethiopian restaurant, and we'll invite you all to come and break bread with us. We can talk about the book. We can talk about the inequality in life. We can talk about our history. We can come together and talk and share over bread and eat from another culture and get a new perspective. Food always connects people, so look out for that coming up. And history, our history. Take a breath and recognize that this is our history, that the things that have happened in our past, the things that are happening now, that we're all connected to it. And so as we become aware that change must come, change must happen, because when we don't respect our neighbor, we don't respect the land, we don't respect each other. And so as we are trying to find our way through this mystical, magical maze, don't let our history disrupt you. Just know that it is a place of understanding, to become awake and aware, so that we can do things to change our world. Feed 'em, fun 'em. This is a wonderful new thing that we have now back in the community, an opportunity to raise money. And so on Sunday, you can go to the Yes table and sign up. We need people that want to do a Feed 'em, which includes food. And then we also have people that want to do a Fun'em, which doesn't include food. Maybe you want to go hiking or something. And then we have people like what we can ready to do. We can ready to do a Feed 'em and a Fun'em. More details on that to come. It's a barbecue and blues, baby. We gonna rock it out. So some information will be coming up on that soon. You'll go to the Yes table on Sunday or go into our webpage, and it'll be up soon next week. Also, angels. Our sweet Margot, this third Saturday with the Angels with Margot, August the 20th, and she's having it at her home. So you can find out more information, info@universalspiritcenter.org. What a wonderful way to connect, to immerse yourself in all that is. And also, to all of you at Universal Spirit Center that donate to us in every capacity that there is, I thank you for all of the donations, because we do a mighty work, and I thank you for all that you do and give to us. So we truly appreciate that. So we've ended the announcements, and now let us get ready to close out. So once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us tonight. I have to thank Michael and Al again for being soldiers in the production, and for just being divine spirits. We'll see you next Wednesday. That's Kitchen Conversations. And looking forward to what that will bring and what new life that will bring. So I thank you so much, Universal Spirit Center. We will show our slides out again. I thank you for all that you do, from my heart to yours. Peace and blessings.